Hey guys, it's Sean David here. I'm here with Tyler Lubben from Visual Survey, and we're going to be talking about not only his journey of working with survey data, but how he has solved the problem of wrangling survey data. So, how are you today, Tyler?
Hey, doing all right. I kind of just rolled out of bed, so bear with me. So
Yeah, we're on a little bit of a time difference, so I know it's a little bit earlier there than it is when
yeah,
I'm here.
yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, introduce yourself. So, how did you get to this point in your journey?
Yeah, well, I'm Tyler Levin, CEO of Visual Survey, as well as Visual Intelligence Consulting. I started off consulting, doing consulting work for Tableau, and I was creating e-learning courses, consulting, and trainings. And I got into one of my clients that wanted to visualize survey data in Tableau. And I was like, yeah, I got it. I'll do this. This is nothing. So I got their survey data out of Qualtrics, and I looked at it, and I never done survey data before. But of course, being a young entrepreneur, I was like, yeah, I can do this. And I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I looked at it, and I was like, all right, we got all these columns in here. And I mean, there was like hundreds of columns. Um, and, I was like, all right, well, each question is a column, that wasn't the case. The multiple choice questions had multiple columns. The matrix questions had multiple columns. Some of the answers were in the columns. Some of the questions and answers were in the columns. Like, I mean, it was just a total mess. And I was all in Excel trying to clean this up. So I spent maybe a month
Oh,
cleaning
wow.
up this data, and then creating like crosswalks to bring in clean data and working with the client and looking on YouTube and Google trying to figure out ways to do it. And it seemed like it wasn't a big topic. Not a lot of people were talking about how to clean survey data and how to visualize it. So I did that for a few projects, and then I was at a point where I was like, man, like I don't want to do this more. Like I don't even need this client. So at that point, I was like, all right, well, there has to be a better way. And then that's when I got into, there should be some type of tool that can clean this data for you and walk you through it, since I already came up with this perfect process. And then that's kind of where the idea came from. And I started developing this tool really for me to use internally. And then after I kind of did it and kind of came up with a very efficient process, I was like, all right, well, maybe I should commercialize this and actually build this out. So that's kind of the long story. I mean, it's been in the works probably about 2 years now. And I was just thinking, if I'm coming up with this problem and I'm searching Google and not a lot of people are answering it, but have a lot of questions, then there must be a demand out there for it.
Yeah, so that pretty much interfaces pretty well into my YouTube channel because I focus specifically on Tableau. So you've been a Tableau developer for years now, right?
Yeah. I've had my company since 2015 or so.
Yeah. So what kind of projects have you worked on throughout the years?
So the good thing about Tableau is you don't really have to be specific in an industry, as long as you have a good general basis around business.
Mhm.
I went to business school. I have MBA, so I kind of understand business in the whole picture. So I can deal with healthcare data. I can deal with operational or HR. As long as you can talk to the client and understand what they want and really understand it, because that's where a lot of people mess up is they talk to the client and then they just kind of listen to them, but they really don't understand what they want and what they're trying to accomplish. What's their end goal?
Yeah, sometimes the clients don't even know. Like
True.
they're focusing on tactics, but the broader strategy is not
Yeah.
really well defined.
Yeah, but you as a consultant, you got to beat that out of them. I mean,
Right.
a
Yeah.
lot of the times they'd be like, here goes some charts, build these charts, and you're like, no, like you need to sit down with me, explain this data, explain what you want out of this data, explain what your end goal is. What are you or your end user really trying to figure out? And a lot of times, like you said, they don't know initially, and you just got to keep asking them questions until they can figure out and tell you what they really want. Because unless you know what they want, then you really don't know what to build. You're just kind of throwing darts at a board.
Yeah. I typically ask them, what decisions are you looking to better inform? So what is
Yeah.
the decision? And then let's back out into that. Because yeah, sometimes they get really focused on this one specific thing that doesn't really have that big of an impact on the overall decision that they need to make, you know?
Yeah, for
I mean,
sure. Yeah.
we typically at Silvertone, we focus more on kind of sales and marketing, that kind of the side of things, but that's because We've got two partners that are, very well versed and experienced in that space. But
Yeah.
I mean, I do some margin analysis as well.
Yeah, and for me, a lot of times the client doesn't know. I mean, they don't know what Tableau can do and can offer, and they
Right.
don't know what's capable. I mean, they're hiring you as the analyst to do it, so they're coming to you saying, "I think I want this, this, and this," and you could be like, "Well, this and this and this is better," you know. So, I tell client every time I get a new client, like, I don't want you to tell me what to do. I don't want you to tell me what charts you want. I just want you to tell me what your end goal is and let me figure it out. If you don't like what I figured out, then we can go with your thoughts. But initially, let me come up with my own thoughts. Let me come up with my own dashboard, my own charts. And then we can come back together and brainstorm at that end. Because with the consultant, if they put you in a box, then you're not able to think, you're not able to be creative, and it kind of really limits you.
Yeah, that has been a challenge for me, especially there. I have had, or especially early on in my kind of entrepreneurial journey, clients who would hire me for a specific job and they want a specific chart, but then I don't really know what's going on at the higher level. Mm-hmm. So I almost feel like I'm just an errand boy. I'm not an actual consultant. They just need someone to implement. It's almost like being an employee for hire versus actually being an entrepreneur that's solving a problem.
Well, I mean, for me, I've had this problem my whole career. Even, I started corporate and worked in corporate for a year or two. And it was in a startup, and, coming out of college, 21, 22, in a startup, I was talking to the C-level people. I would go in there and tell them, like, I don't think you should do this. I don't think you should do that. I think you should do this. And of course, they're looking at me like, who's this young 21-year-old telling me what to do? But that's how I always approached it. So whenever I get clients and they say something, I'll disagree with them. Like, no, I don't like this chart. I think you should do this chart. And they don't want to hire me. They don't hire me. I mean, it's one of those things where if you're going to let me do the project, then let me do the project. If not, then just go find someone, on Upwork that's going to do, kind of.
Right. Yeah.
Like and that's why, that's what makes a difference, and some clients appreciate that. And they'd be like, man, like, thank you. Like everyone that I've been telling this, they just have been like, okay, yes, I'll do whatever you say. Where, sometimes people are looking for partners. They're looking for someone to push them, to brainstorm with them, to tell them no, and you're not going to know that until you tell them no, so it's up to you how you want to strategize it. Like I said, I'm the person that'd be like, no, I think we should do this, this, and that. And you agree, disagree, or we can agree or disagree, and if we disagree, we can brainstorm and come up with a better way. But I look at myself more as a partner than just a freelancer. I guess it's how you approach it,
That makes a lot of sense.
But you could lose business doing that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true. Well, when you're starting out and you're really hungry.
That's what I was like.
Risky strategy.
Yeah, like
once you get established, it's
exactly.
It's kind of it's almost like a power dynamic shift. Where they respect you more, and then they see you as the expert, and they're like, "Well, what do you think of this?" Instead of dictating to you, they're asking for your expert opinion.
Yeah. So let me backtrack. You have to get to a certain level.
Right.
Like once you get to the level, like, I don't care if you're my client or not, then you can do that.
Yeah.
But if you need to pay rent next month, then just accept it and keep moving.
So what you just outlined, well, earlier on, you outlined some of the problems you ran into when you first got into survey data. What are the main challenges in that space?
Yeah, so survey data is just so different than every other data. Like I said, I as a Tableau consultant, I deal with all type of data. For me, the data doesn't matter. It's all the same. There's dimensions, there's measures, there's going to be calculations, there's going to be things I'm gonna filter with, things I'm gonna put in the charts. Like it's all the same. It's just, understanding the goal and changing it. But with survey data, like I said, the structure of it is so different. I'm guessing, I don't know, but whoever invented survey platforms initially was not a data analytic person, because the data, how it's outputted is horrible. Like it's not meant to be put in an analytical tool. Just like with some survey, like Google Forms. Right. Like in one column, they have all their multiple choice answers in one column, just separated by commas. How do you analyze that? Like, on our end, we have to, separate those columns all into those answers all into a separate column in order to analyze it. So like all surveys softwares have these different things. And so none of them are really meant to be outputted and then analyzed. Like it's all dirty, it's all jacked up. Like they didn't build it to actually be in a visualization tool or analytic tool or even in a database. Like it's just horrible. So the main challenge is getting that data in a format that makes sense for BI type tools. And in order to do that, you have to have the expertise or you have to Google and YouTube all day to figure it out. And it's a lot of trial and errors. And even the people that you Google or YouTube, they may have a solution, but it may not be the optimal solution. So as an analytic person, you're like, all right, well, they did like this, I can improve it like this. And then just getting that process completed is tedious. And I mean, you're gonna have a lot of headaches, and it's just one thing you just want to quit. Like I said, I mean, I had a client and it was a huge client. I mean, a Fortune, 500 client. And I got to the point where I was just like, I don't care how much you pay me. I don't want to do this no more. I mean, it's really like that tedious of a job.
Yeah, I had one potential client that had, I think it was over 1,000 columns worth of survey questions, and I was just like, I think I called you to see if you wanted to take it on. Unfortunately, that client fell through, but yeah, that would have. I was intimidated by that project. That seemed like that would have been quite a bit of money, though.
And what's so scary about those type of projects is a lot of that has to be done in like an Excel file because it's so like freestyle with how to manipulate that data. And I believe back then with the Tableau prep wasn't even out when we talked about this. Mm-hmm. And I mean, as you know, if in Excel, if you mess up one thing, like, man, you got to almost start all over. Like there's no going back. You know what I mean? Like you try to, split a column or you pivot something wrong or you VLOOK up something wrong. Like everything is jacked up and you're just sitting there looking at like, damn, where did I mess up at? So yeah, it's one of those things where it's just messy, man. Like survey data is just so messy.
Well, that's where you come in, right?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Well, you can actually share your screen and let's take a look through the interface because it's basically dummy proof, right?
Yeah, and I created a huge knowledge base explaining everything. So so how I approach this. Are you able to see my screen now?
It's not showing. Let's see.
All right, let's try this again.
There we go.
All right. So how I approach this and how I made this is I wanted anyone to be able to do this. So I'm talking, you don't need to know data analytics experience. You don't need to know, ETL type work like databases or how to, clean data. You don't need to know Tableau. All right. All you need to do is go through the course in my knowledge base, which, first it's an overview of what the tool is. And then next it's, all right, what survey software are you using? Are you using SurveyMonkey? Are you using Google Forms? Are you using Qualtrics? All right, you're using Qualtrics, then follow these exact steps because I already ran all the data through the software using Qualtrics data, and I can tell you exactly what to do using your Qualtrics data set. And then from there, all right, now what are you using? Using Tableau, using Power BI, using ClickSense or Spotfire. All right, well, here's a video. Now connect your data to this dashboard using this video. So literally you don't need any prior experience. You just need to follow the steps of the videos. And at the end, you get a Tableau dashboard. And I'll go ahead and show you kind of what that looks like and or in Power BI, ClickSense, whatever one you want. And this is kind of the dashboard template here. So you download this dashboard template and you are able to connect your survey data to this dashboard template without knowing Tableau, without having to create Tableau, without having to do anything. All right. And you get these visualizations here. And so, for example, here are all the questions in the survey. Under that, sorry, it's loading real quick. Under that, you have all of your filters, which are here, where you could filter all of your data. You also have a split graph, which I'll show you in a second. And then you can filter your question list based off of these different categories or section headings. So now you just go through and you click through all your questions, all of the charts, all of the visualizations are already built out for you. Literally, the only thing you're doing at this point is analyzing your data, visualizing it, taking screenshots, whatever you want. You don't have to do anything but visualize your data at this point. So this is what the cross tab is. Literally, you just picked one of these, which are correlated to the numbers here, which you can also customize. And then you can see what's the difference between the females and males when it comes to your competitors, or you can look at it in total, and then you kind of click through and go through all of your different questions. Now, how kind of high level how this is working with the charts is whatever question type is connected to your question. So you have a single response question, you have a matrix question, you have a numeric question or net promoter score question. Whatever question type is connected to your original question, that's going to show a specific chart. So, for example, all matrix type questions in your surveys will show this visualization here. Okay, all ranking type questions in your survey, which are the question type that you selected when you created your survey, will show this type of visualization here. So everything is built out based off of question type. And this once you download this dashboard, it's fully customizable. You change your logo, change the colors. If you want to change how the chart looks, do whatever you want. This is just to give you a head start and get you going without having to do this and create this from scratch.
Cool. So what's this one? What kind of visualization is this?
So this is based off of the numeric question type. So the question is, how long have you been using the software? We have all of the individual questions here with the days, so we can see kind of how the distribution is. Mm-hmm. We have the box whisker plot, so you can see the quartiles and medians, hinges and all that. And then we have the average, because if you do analytics, the average can be skewed left or right depending on who answered what. For some reason one person accidentally answered 1 million, your average is going to be crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're never going to know that if you're looking at just average. So this allows you to see, all right, man, why did this person answer 1 million? Like this person just jacked up my whole numbers. And then you go in and exclude that. And you have all your statistics here and so forth. And kind of a cool thing here is, like I said, once we have this here, looking at it total, we can do something like, all right, let's split this by region. And then now we can see what the average was for each region and or for gender, and then see the distribution across that. So it's pretty cool. And it lets you, like I said, and this is all fully customizable. So these are the charts that I came up with. But they may not be the best chart for you or your company. You might want something different. You might look at this and be like, man, this is confusing. Like my clients are not going to like this. And just go in, change the chart type, and you're good to go.
Yeah, it looks really cool, man. I mean, it looks like you've done a really good job of visualizing. Like I can really tell that you've worked with survey data for years, and this is, kind of what you've come up with.
Yeah. And I mean, I say this is a new thing. First of all, data visualization is new. And then now visualizing survey data, it's such a small market and such a new thing. There wasn't that much information out there. So, initially I had to go through, like I said, YouTube and Google is like my university, go through and figure out, what everyone else is doing, figure out, what I thought was best, and then kind of come up with the best one. I mean, like I said, I didn't come up with all this myself. Of course, most people learn from other people as well. So I went through and researched all the experts and kind of figured out what they were doing and just put it all together with what I felt was best. So yeah, this was a lot of research, a lot of time, looking at how the experts are doing it and coming up with what I thought was the optimal visualization for that question.
Awesome. Well, it looks fantastic. I mean, it looks like a pretty polished interface. So,
yeah, and let me, sorry, I didn't actually get to the interface. So, that's going to be the final dashboard here, right? So, kind of how
the dashboard is looking pretty polished. So the actual interface itself is,
and that's what's important, right? Because that's what the end user and you are going to see. But in order to actually get to that dashboard, you have to run it through the Visual Survey software. So the entire process is you go in, You just name your workflow, and it's all stepped out for you. And like I said, I have a huge knowledge base that explains everything. So step 1 is all the getting started videos. Step 2 is the upload and prep, which is here. Step 4 or step 3 is cleaning data, and then using the dashboard template, customize it in advance. So you just go through these by one by one, select what survey software you're actually going to be using, and then it's going to be a video specifically for you and your survey software that's going to explain all the caveats of that survey data, all of the notes, everything you need to know in order to run that software or run that data through. So all the work and all of the research has already been done for you. You just got to follow the steps. All right, so first step is create the workflow. Then you upload your data. You can upload either a CSV or Excel file, or you can connect directly using our APIs. From there, you have to prep the data. Now, this is where most of the work is done. And here is you put your actual question numbers here, which, as you see, Google Forms gives that to you. So that works perfectly. And then you group your questions. So this was one of the main things that was a problem was, for example, here you see there's 5 different sevens, right? There's 5 different questions here. Mm-hmm. All of these are connected to a matrix. So this is the question, whether you use these features available in the software. And then this was the second part of the question. And this was, all right, graphic types, yes, or extremely, very often. So there's really 3 different components. You have the question, you have what went on the top of the matrix, and then what the answer was, right? And then you have one for each one: database integration, integrated with website, offline model, or online model, right? So this is, all of these columns are really one question. And they have to be, in the dashboard as one question, because you don't want to see all of these individually. So this is where the question number is important. You have to group all those together by giving it the same question number. Same thing with this one. This was a multiple choice question type, and you have to group all of these together because they're all in different columns, right? So you group all those together using the question number. You select what the question type was, and there is also a crosswalk that tells you what the Visual Survey question type is compared to what the Google Forms question type is, or whatever software you're using. So, for example, in Google Forms, it's called multiple choice. But in Visual Survey, you're going to put single response. So it literally walks you through every single thing, and all the documentation is there for you. Then you figure out your question types, which, as I was saying before, tells Tableau what chart it's going to show up in. So single response is going to be a bar chart. Zip codes, all the zip codes are going to be a map. All the single response is going to be or single response matrix is going to be a matrix, etc. So this tells Tableau which chart type it's going to be. From there, you're going to select what filters you want. Whatever you select here as a filter is going to be a filter on that bottom right panel that I showed you. And then you do this. You go to the clean data part, and then you figure out what your final question text is going to be. That's going to show up here. What your abbreviation is going to be, that's going to show up here. And then section heading will show up in the section heading list, so you can filter down your questions. And then you can, from here, clean your data. You can change the names, whatever you want. And then you just go through each question number and do that. And then at the end, you get to preview your data. You can then export it to a CSV file, MySQL, SQL Server, Postgres, and then go to dashboard templates. Download one of the dashboard templates, which I showed you the Tableau one, but I also have Power BI, Spotfire, or ClickSense. And then all you do is just go to your data source, right-click, edit data source, point to your new Excel file, and then you get this pretty dashboard ready to go within minutes.
Wow. So how much time would that have taken you? I guess let me phrase it this way. How much time did you spend on that first project versus how much time would you expect someone to spend on this?
Yeah, so that first project, I mean, like I said, not knowing survey data, not knowing how to visualize survey data, not just starting straight from scratch, it took me about 2 months. I mean, not working full time, but it took me 2 months of pretty good working. And like I said, a lot of it was the learning, the figuring out what's the best structure. Once I get in that structure, what do I create? Like it was a lot of steps and a lot of research and a lot of learning. Right now, something like what I created here took a few hours.
Wow.
So it's because everything that I struggled and went through to get to the last point, I programmed and automated it all within this software. So this software is years of my struggling with survey data, put in a easy interface, easy to use tool that literally does it all for you. You just have to input some data and follow the videos. And the really cool thing that I loved about this is once you finish this entire workflow, the data is in a standard format, which is in that same format every time. So you get your dashboard, you customize it, you do whatever you want to it. You run another workflow, you export the data, right? Then you can select all of your surveys. Like if I have 10, 20 different surveys, you could put all of your export all of your surveys, and then you could put that all in one dashboard and be able to just filter through all of your surveys in one dashboard and then looking at it. So it's pretty powerful. I mean, I'm pretty proud of it. I mean, like I said,
Good.
This was a struggle to get this done as far as coming up with the best practices for everything, because it's not out there, right? There's no other survey data cleaning tool, right? So coming up with all of these different automation rules and going through every single, like I said, I went through, if you've seen that list, I went through all of the top survey softwares, right? So I did demo surveys on all of them, looked at all the data, figured out all the caveats of all the different softwares, and then created a tool that solved all problems from all softwares. And I mean, not all, but these are the top 10 or something, right? So this covers 80-90% of everybody.
Some Pareto analysis there.
Yeah. So that was the struggle and how I got to the end point. And I'm in the process of beta, and I'm hoping that people are appreciating the work that it took to get to this point to help them be able to visualize survey data. And it's not a lot of people visualizing survey data out there, so I'm hoping this will break out the whole data visualization for survey data, because like I said, you don't have to have any Tableau analytics skills. You can be just a market research person and come up with these dashboards now. So I'm hoping this really helps the industry and really grows survey visualization.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic. It looks like you put some time into this, some hard work.
Yeah. It was like I said, it was a long process.
Well, I have got to head pretty soon, but do you have any I guess takeaways, anything you want to ask?
So as far as your
so are you looking for beta users? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I mean, we do need some beta users. We have, if you go to our website, visualsurvey.com, you go join beta. There is a form where you fill out and you can sign up for the beta. You get full access to it. You as well get 3 months of the software free once the beta is done, so that you can test it out and play with it as much as you want. But I mean, like I said, it's really, I just want your feedback. I want to know, if you were using this in your company, what features do you want, so I can add those. Being a small software company, I'm real flexible. So you send me an email like, hey, I wish it did this. I'll probably get that out there in a few days. So I really want to make it for the end users. So I'm looking for people that want to use the software and want to use it for their company, and tell me, all right, well, what is it missing for you to use it for your company, and I'll add those features for you. So yeah, I'm real open, and I mean, me, I'm real open and flexible, and try and always make it best for the end user.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on actually getting this up and over the hump.
Thank you.
I mean, we've been talking about this for over a year now.
Yeah, it's been a process. This is my first. Well, it's my first software that I fully finished, and it was a huge learning curve.
Yeah, Well, now you can just do it again and again and again,
Hey,
just like how you did how you built your consulting business.
that's the plan. I'm not stopping anytime soon.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time, Tyler.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll
Nice
see you later.
talking to you, bud. See you.